Hi, Facebook friends. I'm happy to be here this Wednesday. I'm going to wait a few seconds till we have some people jump on. But I do this show every Wednesday and I cover different topics or questions that people have recently asked me. I get a lot of inbox messages asking about, clean foods, exercise, fitness questions. So I figured this will be my 11th episode. So about 12 weeks ago, I figured, why don't I just jump on live and answer all these questions that I get. So if you guys have questions around any sort of, health related topic, whether it be, clean nutrition, whether it be exercise, fitness, wellness, mindset, transformation, whatever that is, definitely go ahead and message it to me or, text me, comment it in this comment section here of this video. I'd love to do a show on it. We've covered a lot of different topics, so definitely go back to my videos section and see all the different topics that I have covered. I've done one on HIIT training, one on cardio fat loss, which would be my, HIIT training philosophy, the hierarchy of fat loss, how to build a clean meal, mindset required around transformation. So we've covered a lot of good stuff. So definitely go back and check those episodes out too. And then let me know what you would want me to do a show on. So I'm really excited about today's show though, because I'm going to get a little vulnerable here and kind of share my whole journey with you guys and a few things that I've learned along the way and how I'm at the spot that I'm at now where I feel really balanced and just sound in my nutrition and healthy. So I'm going to take you on that journey and kind of the three of the main things that I've learned along that way or along the way. And if you're watching this and I'm going along and you think that this is information that someone else that could really benefit from, I ask you to just click that share button. You can share and then choose to send it in a message or just share and post. And my goal is really to just get as much free information out about this, just because people are, always have questions about health and fitness and oftentimes don't know where to go. So I hope that these shows have been helpful and that you've actually been able to take this information and implement it. That's my goal, that it's easy for you to take and implement into your life. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. So obviously I'm tuning in from Austin. Let me know where you guys are watching from. You can just throw it in the comments section. And if you have questions when I'm going along, through telling you my story, definitely post them and I'll answer them as they come up. And send likes and hearts so I know you guys are watching. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So my journey with nutrition and really, getting a healthy mindset around it, it's been a long journey. It's been, I'm 29 now and this started back in high school. So it's been well over 10 years of this, journey trying to figure it out. And back in high school, I started with, noticing that I had gained some weight and I wanted to do something about it. I didn't like that. I always felt like I was the big girl or the big boned girl. Whether I was or wasn't, that's what I thought of myself. Those were the thoughts that I had told myself. And then I was always in middle school, the tall girl. Granted, I'm 5'6.5", 5'7", I round up. Now, but, at the time, I was the tallest girl in the class. So I remember kids thinking that I was the teacher when I would walk up to my locker in middle school. And I just didn't like that. All the other girls were tiny. Standing next to me, I probably looked like two of them. And that's the thoughts that I had in my head. So I remember always just feeling kind of bigger, but I never really felt like I needed to lose weight until high school. I remember vividly thinking and looking at pictures being like, wow, I've really gained weight around my junior year. It's funny because this all kind of links into my digestive issues as well that I've been, committed to healing over this past 10 years. That's really when I started to notice digestive symptoms come up as well. So if I knew everything that I knew now, I would just go back and focus more on the quality of my nutrition. But I was in high school and, it was more important for me to weigh a certain number and look a certain way. So I started Weight Watchers in high school And that was the first time I went on like a diet or a plan. And I remember I would like count my points even when I wasn't writing everything down. I still was always like counting my points. And I remember at lunch I would go and get a Diet Coke and a bag of pretzels because that was only going to be a certain amount of points. So just very unhealthy. And I remember always thinking of different foods as how many points they were. And it continued on, and I had lost some weight initially just because my body had never done anything like this before. And I kind of became addicted to that feeling of seeing that weight loss. So my junior and senior year, I left my high school sports. I was a competitive cheerleader, so I left that. And my senior year, I got into running. So then it kind of became, you know, if I could outwork out my points. And this wasn't a huge phase of my life, but this is where it all kind of started. And it definitely was not healthy now that I look back. But at the time, I don't know if I really knew that it wasn't healthy. I think I just thought that that's what fitness was. So, hi Laura, hi Carrie, thanks for joining. Hi Kent, hi Sarah. So, hold on, there's a question. Oh, good question, Brett, I'll talk about that. So, I ran my first marathon when I was 18, my senior year in high school. And I just remember feeling like in control of my nutrition, but then so out of control at the same time. It was like I was so in control that I was out of control. And then it kind of graduated from there. I continued, I remember doing Atkins diet for like a short period of time. And for some reason, like Cool Whip or something like that was like super low in carbs or something crazy. Like I look back on it now and I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, I wish I would have known better then. But anyway, so I did the Atkins phase, and then I went to college and I gained 25 pounds probably in college, my first freshman and sophomore year. I remember my little sister was so innocent at the time. She was like 5 years old. I come home and she's like, whoa, Lucy, you know, like she had noticed a change. So I knew when a little kid calls you out on the weight gain the fat that you've gained, it's just, there's no filter there. They don't have that filter at all. So I remember that and feeling like I should really do something. So I got back on Weight Watchers, and it was just always this mental struggle. It was this mental struggle of feeling on and off. And you'll notice this pattern through my whole story. It was either on or I was off. I was on or I was off. There was no, this is just me healthy eating and this is what my body needs for nourishment. I didn't understand that concept at that point. So I continued on, and my digestive issues continued to follow me. I remember always feeling just like bloated. At the end of the day, I would look like I was like 3 months pregnant. My mom could tell you, like, I would call her crying because people would think I was pregnant, and I wasn't at all. It was just I was so bloated from all the chemical foods I was eating. I was tracking points. Again, it was like everything was about the points, and it didn't matter the quality of the points, the quality of the calories. So it was an evolution. You know, I saw like my mom eating clean at home and healthy, but I wasn't ready to like accept that I couldn't have my like frozen little dinners that were 10 points. Like that's the mindset I was at. And the reason I'm sharing this with you is because it really is a journey you have to go on to find what's right for you and find that balance. So from there, I went on and I started after college when I was exercising all the time, teaching spin classes, working out myself. I just was feeling really like undernourished, actually anemic, and from over exercising, and needed to do something about it. At that point, my digestive issues had gotten so bad. I had my first colonoscopy when I was 22, so it was just not fun. So that's when I really started to dive into clean eating. And it really started because I wanted to recover from my workouts better. I wanted to look leaner. So I got into clean eating, and that was just very generic clean eating, like focusing on eating whole foods. I was still eating dairy. I was still eating everything. And I remember for the first time I actually saw my body change shape, which I hadn't had before. I saw my core like lean out. I saw, you know, muscle coming onto my body, and that was really cool. That was a huge learning experience for me because I was actually able to realize that good whole foods actually fuel your body, and your body does something with that nutrition versus crappy chemical filled foods, whether it's, you know, low calorie or not. So at that point, I noticed that I was still having these digestive issues. So I started to dig deeper, and I took out dairy, and then I dug a little deeper, and I took out gluten. And this was all over a period of like, you know, 3 years. And then that led me to the paleo diet. And I had done the paleo diet probably from age 23 up until recently, like this past January. That was my diet. So, and I had found better feeling, like sound in my gut once I switched to paleo. But there was still always this unhealthy, like on-off situation, and partying in my 20s, and then rebounding because I was so, you know, hungover and bloated, and then back to trying to eat clean. And I just got to a point where I was just so sick of starting over again. I was so sick of just feeling like, here we go again. I gotta eat clean again. Like it became this like chore that I had to do in order to just keep the water retention down and the bloating down, really. And it wasn't fun. I remember feeling like, almost like if this not feeling free. It was like I was trying to control my food so much to get a result that I was so out of control, if that makes sense. So, fast forward, I continued to try and, you know, figure out what was going on with my gut. I would see multiple different doctors to try and figure out why I was having these gut problems. Nobody ever really had an answer for me. And then I found nutritional cleansing, which is what I do now and my husband does with me. It's the company that I'm partnered with, and it got even better. So my symptoms started to get even better. I just felt more energetic, more clear. I had, you know, my gut felt more sound. I didn't have discomfort in my gut, but there was still kind of a missing link. And that's where I started to add grains back in. And I realized that it doesn't have to always be one model. Like paleo might be great for some people, but maybe it's a you know, altered version of that works best for me. And I started to be okay understanding that maybe what works for me is completely different than what works for all the CrossFit people that love paleo. So I continued to do my nutritional cleansing, and then just recently, as of this past year, I started adding in more grains like wild rice, quinoa, sweet potatoes. I started adding in things that were higher in carbohydrates, and I found that I actually did a lot better on it. So the point that I'm at now is I just really feel like I can go with Brett and have a burger and it doesn't rule my life. Like, it's not a big deal. And because I've released that mental pressure off of it, my body doesn't respond the way it used to. Your body responds so much based on your thoughts that you think. So if you're beating yourself up about what you ate, it's going to show up in your body. But the second you let go of that and you listen to your body and you tune in, then that's when you start to see like the 10 pounds of water retention just start flowing off all the time. Maybe you eat half the burger rather than the full because you're tuning into your body. So it's a couple different things. It's going on this journey of really figuring out what works best for your body. For me, it was nutritional cleansing with some grains actually added back into my diet, not strictly paleo. That's really what works best for my body. And then there's the whole mental aspect of it, that I had to go on this journey of really figuring out what were those points in my life when I was using food as like a coping thing, whether I really was aware of it or not. I mean, that's what it is. Even if you think like, oh, well, I don't have any problems with food, or I don't have any, you have to ask yourself some questions. You know, do you have goals and do you keep sabotaging them? Then maybe you do have some emotional issues with food. And you need to look at it and you need to slow down and actually ask yourself some questions before you dive into, you know, the Domino's pizza and eat half the thing. There's some questions that you have to ask. So, you know, and I really just got to a point, especially in these last couple of years, that I wanted to remember feeling really good at all of my experiences in life, like going on trips and feeling good, not going on trips and remembering how bloated I felt in my bathing suit and how I had to wear a cover up because I had had something the night before that I knew wasn't going to make me feel good. And it became my mission to get so good with my relationship with food and stop all of this crazy dieting and stop all of this on for 30 days, off for 30 days, on for 30. Yeah, there's periods of life where I kind of choose to clean it up and I'm okay with it. It's not this like negative connotation anymore, but that's because I've done the mind work that it requires. So 3 things that I've learned is the first thing is if you're struggling right now with trying to figure out balance, or you feel like, you know, eating clean is going on a diet and that you can never have your, you know, chocolate again, you can never have your cookie again, whatever it is, then you're probably at a place where you need to find that lifestyle, that ease with your food, and realize that your relationship with food isn't so great. So the first thing is to don't ever quit trying to get to a healthy spot with food. Don't ever stop. It gets really frustrating sometimes, especially if you're in this on-off cycle of trying to be so in control of what you're eating that you're so out of control. Just give yourself some grace and realize that's the point that you're at, and that you're going to do the work to get to a good spot, and that's what your future holds, is a good relationship with food where you can travel and enjoy the local food but without feeling like you just went overboard and now you've ruined your vacation, or feeling like you have this big goal and you just sabotaged it and the guilt and the shame that comes over it. Just know that you're in process and that you're working to figure it all out. Don't ever quit, because the second you just throw your hands up and quit, that's when you get to such a low point and you start packing on all this weight, you feel so much worse about yourself. So it's really about how many times do you get back up on the horse rather than how many times have you fallen off. Every time you get back up on the horse, remember why you're doing it, and just remember that it's not fun starting over every day. There is no starting and ending. It's choosing this life or choosing to be unhealthy. Those are the 2 options. Choosing to be healthy or choosing to be unhealthy. There's no, I'm going to be healthy for 30 days and that will carry me for 2 months of eating unhealthy. That's not how it works. It's I want to live a long, healthy life, so this is the route that I'm taking, not I'm going to be unhealthy and live a short life. That's it. There's 2 options. So when you get to that level of realizing that you're addicted to those unhealthy foods, then you can start working on your relationship with food. So it starts with awareness, and don't ever quit. I think over this whole journey that I've been on, I was always determined to get to a healthy spot that I knew I was capable of maintaining and just living my life without overthinking it. So just don't ever quit in trying to find that good balance in your life. The second thing is listening to your body. I didn't do this for so long. It was like my head was disconnected from my physical body. So turn down the noise and actually listen to your body and what it's telling you. Like, tune in, even when you're eating. And it comes down to being, not letting yourself get so hungry that you're so checked out that you're just eating because you've now turned into this emotional mess. Really slow down and listen to your body. Be aware and so clear on how foods make you feel, especially if you have digestive problems like I do. You have to get so clear on how certain foods make you feel, even vegetables. And I found out recently that I have a sensitivity to lettuces. You know how much lettuce I had been eating? I had no idea. But then I knew when I had that little bit of romaine, when I actually thought about it, I always felt bloated and like gurgly afterwards. So it's just like slowing down and really listening to how you feel best. And before you go in to eat that cheat meal or cheat day, and remember, there isn't any cheat meals or cheat days. This is your life. This is just whether you've chose to indulge a little bit more than you might normally or not. And just remember, before you go in to do that, how foods make you feel, how you're going to feel 20, 30, 24 hours after eating that meal. So remembering that and slowing down enough to have the time to remember it. And then take notice of those times that you check out and you use food as like your checkout method, meaning you sit on the couch and you just sit there and mindlessly eat. Those times, what's going on in your life? Are you exhausted? Did you not plan properly? And you had no food in the house, and so you grabbed a bag of potato chips and you sat on the couch? Or is it something emotional? Like, are you going through a lot of stress right now in your life? Start to take aware of those things, because you can stop yourself before you go into that mode and fill that space with something else. Like, I like to fill that space with just taking the dog out for a walk. Like, if I feel that I could just easily sit on the couch and eat a bag of Skinny Pop all the way down to the bottom and just check out and watch TV, I know that I don't actually need the Skinny Pop, and I'm probably not actually hungry. It's an emotional thing, or something's going on in my life that I'm using that to fill that, emotional low. So what I'll do is I'll just take the dog, leave the house, and like just go for a walk and get my mind off of it, and even just 10 minutes of moving your body and you feel totally different. Hi, Mom. And then just remember that food is really for nourishment. I mean, your body rebuilds itself. I think they say every 7 years. You rebuild cells every 7 years. Like, you're a completely new person. So it's like, what do you want those cells to be built of? Do you want them to be built of drive-through food, or do you want them to be built of organic superfoods? So just asking yourself those questions and working on it day in and day out. This isn't an overnight process, and I still have things that I'm working through with food. I don't think we ever, are fully just healed. It's a process that you go through, and you have to be committed to being healthy. So it's making the decision to be healthy and making the decision that nutrition is that important to you, and that it is the basis of how our cells are built. It's like nutrition's like DNA for your cells, of how it's built. It's built off of those foundational blocks. So you have to wrap your mind around that, and find that balance in life. Not get so crazy on and off. And if you're just getting on, when I post this, go back to the beginning, because I share my whole journey on how I went from such an on and off place to finding real balance, where I can go out and have a burger with my husband every once in a while, and it doesn't like rule my world anymore. I actually feel okay the next day, and I can work out, and so much of that is mental. So I talk about that in the beginning. And then the last thing that I really learned, so the first thing I learned was don't ever quit trying to get that healthy relationship with food. Remember, it's a journey, and don't quit. Just keep getting back on the horse, keep fueling your mind, and just keep trying to figure it out. The second thing is listening to your body, like actually connecting your head down into your gut and listening to how food makes you feel. Like really tuning into how you feel, not staying checked out and ignoring everything from here down. Really feel how food is making you feel after your meals. The third thing is seek out understanding, like understanding why you do what you do. Because a lot of people that use food as like an emotional filler, there's something else going on. There's other emotional addictions that are going on. Some people use alcohol, some people use drugs, some people use food, some people use over-exercise. There's all different things that may not necessarily be socially considered bad, like food, but it is. It can be a drug. So you have to figure out what it is for you that's causing those emotions, and really seeking out understanding and why you do what you do. I really dove into different books and learning how the brain works, and learning how you're addicted to different emotions, and what is the spiral that happens when you encounter those situations or encounter those same feelings that maybe you had from the past. So really figuring that out for you, because it's different for every single person. This isn't just like a diet quick fix. This is about really getting to a healthy place with food mentally, so that you can actually live your life without feeling like it's controlling you. So anyways, that's what I wanted to share with you guys, my whole journey. I'm sure I'll dive deeper into these different phases as time goes on, but that was just kind of a quick overview about, how I ended up here eating clean, and how it's kind of become a way of life for me. And it was a 13-year journey. One thing I didn't talk about is every training event whether it be a bikini competition or a foot race or, you know, kettlebell certification, I would train. And then without even noticing a difference in what I was eating, I would rebound. And so that was years of just working through that and figuring out why that was happening. So just give yourself grace and know that this is a process and it's one step at a time. It's what can you do today to get to a healthier place with food tomorrow? And every day, never giving up and just keep trying and tuning into your body and listening. So I hope that this helped you guys and that you were able to take a little bit from my story. And if anything, just know that, you know, if you are struggling with food and trying to figure it out and how to have life and enjoy, you know, different cuisines and not feel like guilty, just know that I've been there, you know, and that it's all a part of the journey, and just keep plugging along, keep seeking, keep trying to, you know, get better at it, and you'll eventually get to a place, or you'll meet the right coach, or you'll find the right book that clicks for you and it will make sense, and you'll be able to kind of come over that hill. So thank you so much for joining, guys, and watching. Hi, Mel. Hi, Scott. Yes, Mel. Heavy metal, that might be I don't know if that's a trigger that's ever going to go away. My husband and Melanie's husband are big metal heads, and so I could talk about that forever. He can literally listen to metal music while he's sleeping. Like, I don't understand how that's possible, but that's another show. Anyways, I hope you guys took something away from this. I'm going to post it as a post, and go ahead and watch from the beginning. I talk about my whole journey, starting from high school, how we got into, you know, dieting, these crazy diets, and how I got to where I am right now. And some things that I've learned along the way. I'm sure I have a lot more to learn. But I'll always be sharing with you guys what I've learned. So if you have any topics that you want me to cover, definitely comment below, ask questions below. I'd be happy to share more with you. Inbox me any ideas or things you've been wondering about in the health and fitness world. All right, guys, have a great night, and I will talk to you next week. Bye.